What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben Gaming video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. Today we're taking a look at Stellar Blade on the Steam Deck. This is a Steam Deck verified game with actual Steam Deck presets, which I find really cool when developers actually do this and want to get their game running on the Steam Deck. I think it's really cool to see. So without further ado, let's get into this on Steam Deck. Please consider liking and subscribing if you do enjoy these videos. And yeah, let's jump into the settings menu first so you can see what the options actually are here. So we've got this on the display running at 720p right now, because at the end of the day, it's something that I would prefer to have for the video purposes. Obviously 800p is the native res. So yeah, you know, it's going to be a very minor difference, but we just get that nice aspect ratio for the video. I have turned off things like film grain and chromatic aberration and motion blur all the way down to 0. We are currently in the graphics menu using the Steam Deck preset. Now we're going to tinker with this and muck around a little bit further, because I don't think it's the best way to play this game. I actually think capping this at 40 FPS is kind of perfect to get that much superior image quality. I've put the target frame rate to 120 just so we can see if we're going above 60 in any areas, which we absolutely are here, which is really cool. So this is the Steam Deck preset. It's pretty heavy on FSR, which I find you know, a little bit disappointing. You don't want to be too heavy on FSR because it isn't the best upscaler by any means. Now, I do want to add, obviously, if you are watching this on your monitor or TV or anything, then obviously it's going to look far worse than what you're playing on the Steam Deck display. I've played this on the Steam Deck display and it looks absolutely insane running this at 60 frames with even using FSR. So let's just tinker around with some settings, see what we can do performance wise in this first starting area, and then we'll go on to the next area after, and just, you know, when it opens up a little bit more. So let's jump into settings and just muck around and see what we can do. So if we were just right now to go to graphics and turn on frame gen, because we can do that, and with the current Steam Deck settings, what are we getting? Wow, so you are literally getting a very high refresh rate, but I will say we are now getting sort of like screen tearing and also a severe input delay that I am very much feeling. So personally, completely stay away from this option entirely. Like, the input delay there was awful, like very bad. So if you're not happy with the image quality you're seeing on the screen from this, what can you do? Now, obviously, you're going to take a hit to FPS, but at the end of the day, the best thing I would instantly do is just literally turn off this and use TAA, and you're instantly going to see how much cleaner that image quality looks, whether you're playing in docked on a bigger monitor or whatever. It looks miles better playing like this, with this, like, you know, better version. So yeah, I think we need that code actually, but yeah, you know, it's far better looking at it like this on the display. So let's just go through here. I can't remember what the code was. It was like that, I think. Okay, my memory is good today. So yes, you can see that we were at far better image quality, but you would need to cap it to 40 frames. It's sort of just hitting that. In some of the later areas of the game, you're probably going to see drops beyond that. So there is a setting that on the Steam Deck version they have put to medium, which is character object details. If we were to lower that to this, do we hit a more stable 40? Not really. It's still basically hovering around the same sort of mark, but we are well above 40 frames majority of the time. So it's definitely a good way to play, in my opinion. I think this is a fine way to play the game. Oh, hello. I didn't realize you were still there. Okay, so yeah, this is still a absolutely fine way to play the game. We've got our first rest camp here, which we can use. Thank you very much. I know, I've played the game before. Right. Let's activate the camp. So this is personally the way I would probably choose to play, especially in docked mode, because in the end of the day, like, it just does clean that image quality up quite a bit compared to not having it. So let's see what we can do if we want to go for that higher graphics option here and just see what we can get out of this device. I can't skip any cutscenes, so just please be aware of spoilers or anything like that. There's you know, I can't do much. If you want to watch this video, then you know, beware of spoilers. In the cutscenes, you can see we're at 120 frames per second, which is nice. I'm not sure if it's actually running at that, but it does look incredibly good. So yeah. All right. Okay.
What's wrong?
This game is fantastic, by the way. Like, one of my games of like this generation, essentially, because I just think it's so cool. The combat's really fun. It's kind of like a easier Souls-like, in my opinion. So it's a good entry to kind of playing Souls games. It's still a challenge. Like, there is still a challenge on some of these bosses, but it's at least a little bit, you know, easier than some of the other Souls games that we do have. So right, let's see. If you want really high graphics and you're happy to go down to 30 FPS, what can we squeeze out of this thing? So we've got, you know, we've got different presets here. Let's try medium. Just see what we can get in medium. So yeah, so you're still above that 30 frames per second window, which is nice to see. Like, we're not dropped below 30 yet from what I can see. Yeah, this is insane. Look at it. Like, we're running this on a handheld device. This is still incredible. The Steam Deck to this day, like, still just is really, really cool. Sorry, I know they won't want to buy upgrades, but this is something, again, why I love the Steam Deck, even compared to something like Switch 2, is because in the end of the day, like, as much as Switch 2 is fantastic, you cannot play this game on Switch 2. So there, you know, there is an advantage still to something like the Steam Deck. Despite the power difference in Switch 2 being more powerful, there is still, you know, advantages to Steam Deck. The fact that you've got to wait for these games to even come to Switch 2. You know, it's just not available there for probably a decent amount of time. So that's something to note. Right, let's see what happens if we go up to something like the high preset. What can we do at that? There's not like a load of stuff I can really test here. We can also try, yeah, so we're at that 30 FPS, but you're going to see dips below, so I wouldn't bother touching that. Personally, I don't think there's much of a difference, especially when you are playing on the Steam Deck display. I would personally just go down to the Steam Deck option. Let's just try like quality. Let's try quality quality FSR, and just see what the image quality is actually like. So it does bring us up. It does bring us up a little bit more in terms of visual fidelity. In terms of frame rate, sorry. What's the skill settings? Let's do that quickly. Yes, I remember. Okay. Press R2 to change survival tree. Okay. Hold to learn perfect dodge. Cool. Dodging at perfect moment will activate perfect dodge and allow you to avoid danger. Very nice. It's a good skill to have in this game. So I've played this before on PlayStation. I'm just refreshing my memory because I'm trying to do the perfect dodge. I don't know. I can't do it. Okay, let's get rid of this guy. So yeah, I think this is fine. Like, if you were to play, like, playing on something like this, like FSR quality or performance, especially on the handheld, is absolutely fine to do. How do you pick things up? Like, am I wrong in saying that this should probably give me something? Oh, there we go. I got it. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, you've got to press R2. I'm sure in the settings there's like an option to like auto pick things up, because I remember that being quite like annoying. Accessibility, I can't remember where it was. Yeah, auto loot items on. Like, to me, like, just having to press R2 seems really stupid. So, but this is what I would, this is probably on the handheld device, is probably how I'd play it. Like, even an unlocked frame rate or something like that with the Steam Deck OLED is really, really nice. I would stay away from frame gen, because it just looks poor, to be honest with you. It just doesn't look very good, and I would avoid that at all costs, because it's just not, I don't know, it's not a good way to play, in my opinion. So I think we'll leave it there. I don't think there's much more to touch on. If you were to go up to something like 1080p and you wanted to dock your Steam Deck to a monitor, can you do that? Well, yeah. Where's 1920 by 1080? 1920 by 1080, yes, keep. You know, at the current settings, you're going to get 30 FPS. It does look way better. You could probably go down to something like, I don't know, FSR, maybe balanced, or even performance might be okay at this sort of resolution. Yeah, that looks quite a lot better at this resolution, and you're still getting that 40 frames. Like, it's really impressive. Like, this thing is really good still. So that is nice to see. So I think we'll leave it there, but thank you for watching. Like, I'll probably do a bit more of a deep dive into the Steam Deck version later on, if you guys want to see like end areas, like end game, just so you can see you know, what you can achieve. But this is just my first impressions at this time. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and I will see you in future videos. Bye bye for now.